Hello, astrology lovers. Raquel Spring here, fourth generation astrologer. And I want to welcome you to this weekly insight on the Black Moon Lilith. This is a big archetype that is very, very much in focus for the world right now. And there's not much information out there on her. So I think this is a great opportunity to have a closer look at this archetype and what she represents, because many of us are already feeling her. So before I get started on the Black Moon Lilith, I'm also going to pull up a chart and show you exactly how she's about to become active for the world. I want to just remind you that regardless of when you watch this video, even after this event already happened, this video is still going to contain a lot of really good information about the Black Moon Lilith. And this is information that is very helpful and good to know because we all have Black Moon Lilith somewhere in our charts. She's a part of our personality. She is a part of our reality. We can't run away from it. So what we are going to do here is we're going to understand it so that we can work together with this archetype, with this part that is such a real part of our life. So before I pull up the chart, before I get started, I want to share a special little announcement. And this is that on October 22nd to 25th, this year, 2021, I will be holding a retreat here in Sedona. This retreat is going to be held with Deva Vidya. She is a shamanic priestess, and the name of the retreat is called Venus Rising. More information on the link on the description of this video. I will put it there. You can get all the information in there. But yes, this is going to be a special focus on the goddess energy. And the reason why we're calling it Venus Rising is because there is a brand new voice of the feminine that is coming into the picture now, including with Black Moon Lilith. So speaking of her, there's going to be a lot of deep dives into the Black Moon Lilith on that retreat. And we're going to help connect each person in there with the feminine archetypes as depicted by the asteroids, Black Moon Lilith, and other significant aspects of your chart. So we are going to take an individualized look at your chart and have an in-depth understanding of how these energies are working in your life now and preparing you for this big wave of the feminine energy coming up in 2022. So that's exciting. More information on the link. I will see you there October 22nd through the 25th. And now, without further ado, we are going to dive straight into the Black Moon Lilith. Now, the Black Moon Lilith is not a celestial object. She's not a body. She's not a celestial body. This is a point of great magnetic force. Okay, even though it's not a celestial body, there is a very strong magnetic force around that area. And whenever there are transits or certain alignments that activate this point of the Black Moon Lilith, she gets really loud. It becomes active, strong. We feel it. We feel her. As a matter of fact, this point of the Black Moon Lilith is going to be in focus on the upcoming full moon in Aquarius. When I pull up the chart, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here, but there's no way around it. We can't run away from this. I mean, it's time for us to take a good, open look at this archetype. So this point, this celestial point, how is it created? What is it about? What creates this point, this magnetic force? Well, this is in reference to the moon's orbit with the Earth. Okay, the moon's orbit. And there is a point in the moon's orbit that is the farthest point of her orbit with the Earth. And this point of the farthest orbit, the farthest point in her orbit, is the part that we don't see, right? The black moon Lilith. It's farther away from us. Now, if we take into consideration the fact that we are looking at the moon here, it's the moon's orbit, it's the moon's trajectory with the Earth. So this is a very close relationship between the moon and the Earth. So the moon in astrology speaks of our emotional nature. This is our receptive nature, the feminine aspect of us, the feminine, the mother. And these are all words that are very good for us to keep in mind as we look at the Black Moon Lilith, because the Black Moon Lilith is exactly that, but another variation of it. So the moon represents the feminine, the mother, our emotions, what we are receptive to, what we respond to in order to feel safe and well. What are our emotional needs that we need in this life in order to feel nurtured and happy and well? So that's what the moon is. Now, the black moon Lilith, and just a little parenthesis here, this is not the asteroid Lilith, and this is not the black moon either. Those are two other separate things. The black moon Lilith is this point that I'm referring to, which is the farthest point of the moon's orbit with the Earth. So, this point over here is very important because this point, it brings us to the side of our emotional nature that we don't easily see or recognize. And as a matter of fact, this point of the Black Moon Lilith is a point that tends to be rejected. It's a place that we naturally tend to reject about ourselves. And so it gets pushed aside, it gets repressed. And this point, when this point is active, it does not like to be repressed. The tendency is for us to repress it, and we'll explain why. But this does not like to be repressed. This point does not like to be repressed. So when it's active, it just bursts out. And if it's been repressed, it can be dark, it can be ugly, it can be even dangerous depending on the situation. Because at its worst, the Black Moon Lilith can also bring death, dark experiences. When we are looking at someone's natal chart to understand what the relationship is with this archetype, we look at this place as a place that we were born with immense cosmic wisdom. But this is the place that immediately, because of our environment, because of our family, and because of all the factors involved in our journey here as a human being, when we're born into this world, this place automatically gets denied and rejected, either by our parents, by our family, by people around us. And so we tend to repress this, thinking that there's something wrong with us and thinking that this is something that we should deny or we shouldn't look at, we shouldn't go there, we shouldn't do that. You can tell just by the place where the Black Moon Lilith is in your chart. Do you know where your natal Black Moon Lilith is? Your natal Black Moon Lilith in your chart is going to show exactly this point, that you have the greatest access to your cosmic wisdom there. But it's a place that most likely you've been denying and rejecting about yourself. So it's very important to know, because the Black Moon Lilith does not like to be repressed, but she is known for being controversial. She is known for being, too much of something, because the Black Moon Lilith, remember, it's connected with the moon. And the moon is our emotional nature. So the part of the Black Moon Lilith is the emotional part. It's still intense, it's still desires, it's still emotions, but it's not met. It's not heard. It's not listened to when we're young. So it just becomes repressed and repressed and repressed. This is the automatic tendency for this archetype until we understand and we discover what this archetype is all about. And we can then start to open the door to this archetype in its power. Now, I will be having a workshop on this Black Moon Lilith archetype with my students. By the time most of you are watching this, the workshop will have already happened, but I will include the link because the replay will still be there. And if you're someone that you feel drawn to this archetype, and as I speak about the Black Moon Lilith, if you feel you resonate with this archetype and you would like to know more about how this influences you, then I do recommend that you check out this workshop. Our workshops are very in depth. They're about 2 to 3 hours long, each one, because we go really deep. And in that workshop, there's going to be stories, there's going to be chart examples, and there's going to be a lot of very important information and tips on the Black Moon Lilith in your chart, in other people's charts. Now, this is a very, very powerful and important archetype for us to understand because the Black Moon Lilith is at its core, let's put my hair back here a little bit. It's getting on my face. The Black Moon Lilith at its core is the feminine essence. This is a part of the feminine expression. Remember, we're dealing with the moon. Now, the Black Moon Lilith is the part of the feminine expression that is not your Cinderella archetype. She's not your stay-at-home mom. You know, all the things that are depicted by the moon, which is the mother, the nurturer, very receptive, very soft. And no, the Black Moon Lilith is the other side of the feminine nature. The other side of the feminine nature that is not necessarily associated with the moon. This is a strong aspect of the feminine nature that when she comes through bursting with energy. She is very connected with her feminine powers, her sexuality, all the things that are not depicted by the moon, right? You only hear about the mother and the nurturer. Well, what about the desires? What about the sexual powers? What about the creative forces that come from those sexual powers? So this is a whole other side to the feminine nature. And it's one that is associated with very ancient knowledge and wisdom. Very ancient knowledge and wisdom way back in the day, way back when the women used to rule the world. And I always hold myself back a little when I say this, rule the world. I don't like that expression, but back in the day when women were leaders, they were the leaders of society. And this was a type of strength of the feminine that was able to command energies and use knowledge, use wisdom, even to hold ceremonies and rituals and magic. And it's very much connected with the occult as well. People that have this archetype strong in their chart, they are usually connected with this in some way, whether, the goddess energy or the ancient feminine wisdoms. And it's just very fascinating. And this is what we're going to explore in our workshop. So if you do want to dive deeper into the Black Moon Lilith, then do check out our workshop. This link will also be on the description of this video. Okay. So, because this is just a little tip of the iceberg here that I'm sharing with you. So let me look at my notes. So I wrote over here that the Black Moon Lilith naturally tends to be a place that we reject about ourselves, because after we had this this change, right, from the matriarchy to the patriarchy. And these are just, they've just belonged to cycles. So, it just had to be this way so we can experience life in its evolutionary process. And so this is always changing. It's never always the same. So we had the age and the era of the matriarchy, and then that switched to the patriarchy. And that changed a little bit the dynamic of things. And so when that came into the picture, the women's voice of the time got silenced. It got repressed. It got made to be bad, like to look bad. And I'm sorry, my my English is a little choppy here today, but it's it got condemned. That's probably the best word. This aspect of the feminine wisdom and the feminine power got condemned. And this is why the Black Moon Lilith is associated with aspects of the feminine nature within all of us that have been suppressed. Don't be too sexual, don't be too powerful, don't be too loud. You got to stay put, stay in your place, control yourself. Well, guess what? The Black Moon Lilith does not like to be controlled. As a matter of fact, I always talk about the Black Moon Lilith. I refer to her as the righteous rage. Rage is such a key word with the Black Moon Lilith. And this is where we want to be careful, because the Black Moon Lilith's rage can go either way. The Black Moon's Lilith's rage can either be completely destructive. If it's repressed, it's dangerous. And it can be destructive to yourself and to others. Or this rage, this righteous rage, can be the power that is connected with all this Kundalini, all this sexual energy. And understood correctly, this is what gives you access to all of this innate wisdom and knowledge that is stored in your cells, in your DNA. The knowledge that enables us to create magic, rituals, ceremonies, and connects us with other dimensions as well. I will tell you, the times that I had Black Moon Lilith really active in my chart, I did a study in my chart to look at all the transits in the past. And whenever the Black Moon Lilith was active in my chart, I had some of the most profound spiritual experiences of my life. So the Black Moon Lilith archetype is very connected with spirituality, the feminine, but not necessarily your, all right, let's all, love and light, meditate here together. No, the Black Moon Lilith is the righteous rage, and she will burst through when she needs to. So because of the cycles and because of where we're at today with this energy, the Black Moon Lilith, naturally tends to be a place that we reject about ourselves, a place that we can deny. And then we end up living in shame, guilt, and frustration. So let's stop here for a moment, because I want to really help you understand this, because this is a lot of the energy that is coming out now to the planet. As a matter of fact, let me actually show you my screen. I think this is the perfect opportunity to show you here. I have this chart set for the Aquarius full moon. As you can see, on August 22nd, we have an Aquarius full moon happening at 29 Aquarius. Now, this is a very, very big full moon, because it's the second full moon in Aquarius that we have happen. And when we have two full moons like this happen in the same sign, this is a very big pay attention sign. Pay attention, pay attention. We are in a pay attention month in many ways. This is a very, very, very hyperactive month of August. But on top of all of this, there is this spectacular focus on the Black Moon Lilith. So here we have, if you can see my mouse over here on the screen, in the early degrees of Gemini, we have the Black Moon Lilith. And yes, this is the point where the moon's farthest point in her orbit is at with the Earth, right over here at this time. So you absolutely want to look at these beginning degrees of Gemini. Oh my goodness. Whether you have an angle, whether you have a planet, whatever it is, and even if you don't have anything, just look for these first degrees of Gemini in your chart because this is where the activity is happening. So the black moon Lilith here at 3 degrees Gemini is in very, very, very important focus. Two things. Number one, it's in a T square with the full moon. Look at that. The full moon happening here at 29 Aquarius, the sun at 29 Leo, and then you have here, bam, right here on this T square, you have the black moon Lilith. Now, the T square will put anything that is in the middle, in this case, the black moon Lilith, in focus. Okay, the T square is created when there is an opposition, in this case, the full moon, sun and moon. And then right in the middle, we have an object, a celestial object or a point in focus. So this point of focus of the T square becomes very important because this point is the point that these two oppositions over here, these two planets are focusing on. They're cornering it into some sort of a highlight. So the black moon Lilith is very highlighted during this full moon. But the most incredible thing is this conjunction that it's getting ready to make with the North Node. So this full moon chart is showing the black moon Lilith at 3 degrees Gemini and the North Node at 7 degrees Gemini. But as the days and weeks go on, you're going to see a week later, look at this. They are even closer together. And they are actually going to perfect in the first week of September. So in September, we're going to see this over here happen. Black moon Lilith and North Node. Oh my goodness, this is so, so big. Wow. Okay. The North Node, in case you don't know yet, the North Node is a very, very important point in astrology because the North Node is God's finger. This is the sole intention, the sole direction for our evolution. Whether we like it or not, the North Node is always going to point to our steps moving forward, what we need to grow, to evolve. So the fact that you have the black moon Lilith, which is such an intense aspect, naturally tends to be repressed, but is connected with the divine feminine, an aspect of the divine feminine that is now returning. This is why we're having that retreat called Venus Rising on October 22nd through the 25th. Check out the description if you're interested, because there is an aspect of the divine feminine that is coming back. An aspect that has been dormant, that has been silenced. And this conjunction with the black moon Lilith and the North Node is a huge component that is helping accelerate this process. Now, on the other hand, like I said, it's also the distortion. It's also the repressed energies. And in order for us to even access the wisdom of the feminine, we have to make peace with all the shadow aspects that have been denied and rejected by us, to us, from society. This is such a real aspect that is coming to life right now for all of us. My goodness. So the North Node and the black moon Lilith coming together is so explosive. This is where Pandora's box is being opened. This is where the masks are falling more than ever. And it's aligned with our evolution, with our soul direction. So regardless of what it is, including death, which I know is such a big theme right now, This is something that Spirit wants us to look at and to face. So many people are already feeling this archetype. Let me know if you're feeling it, how you are feeling it. Let me know where Gemini is in your chart, the first few degrees. Okay, this conjunction is going to perfect at 5 degrees Gemini, but it's already in play for all of August, all of September. This conjunction is going to be there. So the early degrees of Gemini is where this conjunction is happening. So if you have this conjunction happening in your chart that is conjunct a planet or conjunct an angle for you, this is bringing focus to that area of your life. And even if you don't have a planet or an angle, you have a house, you have Gemini somewhere. So this conjunction is bringing focus to that area of your life. Soul wants you to look at straight in the face, head on, look at any emotional desires that have been repressed. These are things that are coming up for all of us, that they come with this righteous rage that I refer to as a Black Moon Lilith. This righteous rage is just coming up in different ways for everybody. Much of it is associated to the times we're in and, just the situations around, COVID and the vaccines and people and families that are separating, or there's just so many dynamics happening. And I know that the Black Moon Lilith right now is playing such a strong part in all of this situation that we're in right now. But even more than the stories, I really want you to sit with the emotions that are coming up for you. Because in one way or another, there is that aspect coming from each of us that is more easily triggered. And not just triggered, I mean, this is rage. This is rage. So these are aspects of our life, of our reality, of our personality that are getting very flared and ready to express. Because remember how I said that the Black Moon Lilith does not like to be held back. So when she is active, she bursts through. And these are aspects of us that things in our life right now are showing us where those parts of us are, where those feelings of anger and, because this is what happens when we repress emotions, it turns into anger. It turns into rage. And this is where we want to not deny it or repress it like we did in the past, but we want to listen to it. It's communicating to us. This is a time where we have to be very patient with ourselves and understand that this is a part of the process, because when Black Moon Lilith is active, there is a sort of a purging that happens. Black Moon Lilith is about releasing, it's a lot of purging. And it can get emotional, definitely, because Black Moon Lilith is connected with the moon, which is emotions. It's desires as well, but it's been repressed, it's been rejected, it's been denied. So this can come up now as just very flared emotions. All of a sudden, out of the blue, you just feel like crying or venting or all the stuff that just needs to come out. And that's what Black Moon Lilith is. That's what Black Moon Lilith is. So I wrote over here, we all have a dark side to our story. Black Moon Lilith shows us that. Yes, we all have a dark side. We all have trauma. In your natal chart, your Black Moon Lilith is going to show where you have some trauma. And, this is where an individual session, an individual look at your chart can help you understand better this energy in your life, what you were born with in regard to your greatest power, but also where you most likely have rejected that power. So a private session with me will help you understand that. I have been studying the Black Moon Lilith very closely for many years now, especially because there isn't a lot of information out there on her. So I wanted to know. So I've been deeply studying and researching the Black Moon Lilith for the past few years. And I love to be able to help people today understand more about this archetype in their chart. So you can either have an individual session with me to know more about that, or you can join our workshop, watch the replay, because we're going to go even more in depth over there. Okay. But this is the dark side to our story, the dark side to our personality, the part that is not your Cinderella female archetype. It's a very raw, primal expression of the feminine, very untamed. And this is where, when you try to repress her and control her, she's like, who dares? Oh, she's untamed. She is the warrior goddess. Don't try to hold her back. So, but I also wrote that she is a point of power that can go either way. And that's why really understanding this archetype is so important, because we definitely want to channel that power and access our power in there as well. Because the power of Black Moon Lilith is unstoppable. She is not afraid of death. She's not afraid of darkness. She's not afraid of anything. She is, as I wrote in another post, the mistress of the void, keeper of the schools, mistress of the void. I'm gonna read that article. I wrote it for my newsletter. And you are welcome to subscribe to my newsletter, because that's where I do all of the updates and I do reminders and I share all these incredible things. But I'm going to read to you what I wrote in that newsletter, because it describes Black Moon Lilith so well. But I'll save that for the end. So the Black Moon Lilith is where we are learning how to make peace with our primal nature. We are making peace with our desires and with our dark aspects and shadow sides. Sit with that for a moment. This is what is coming up for us right now. The parts of our nature and desires that has to do with dark and shadow aspects. Parts that have been denied, but they are so much a part of who we are. And as a matter of fact, it's where our power is. It's where our power is, our cosmic wisdom. So many people are feeling this, okay? When Black Moon Lilith is distorted, she will come through as manipulation. She will come through as repression. She will come through as addiction and even death. I also wrote abuse over here. So Black Moon Lilith can be very dark, and this is all caused by repressed emotions that can then turn into rage and become dangerous. So this is very, very active for the whole world right now, meaning that everybody is having to face and deal with their Black Moon Lilith in their own way. People are feeling all this repressed part of their emotions coming up, and parts that they can no longer deny or even keep under the surface anymore. So it's a wild party happening right now, because on one hand, you have all these people that have not made peace with it yet. And this is coming out as distorted, dark emotions that, like I said, can be even dangerous. Now, on the other hand, we have the aspect of the divine feminine that is coming back. The true voice of the feminine wisdom and feminine power, connected with her sexual powers, with Kundalini, and with a lot of wisdom that has been repressed in society, that has been taken away from us. This is all returning now. So just equally as how do I say this? Like with equal intensity, the same way that this purging is coming through and we're having to liberate all this dense energy, there is also, equally so, the same amount of power for us to access. Now, this power is only available to us once we make peace with the shadow aspect, once we understand the root cause of what it is that we've been denying, what it is that we've been repressing. And that's why sitting with this is so important. So many of you are reaching out to me in every single session that I've been having this month. The Black Moon Lilith has been coming up very strong in our sessions, and so many of you are expressing this righteous rage coming up. Of course, you don't understand it as that, and so it's this really intense energy that is coming up for many of you. But that's what it is. It's this aspect of the divine feminine that is coming up now. And it's really asking us to sit with this, with these emotions, with this darkness, and really look within too. Things are not going to change unless we go within and unless we take responsibility for the cause of our emotions. This is what is helping us evolve. So, really sitting with all of, people are going to come and they're going to trigger us right now. Things are going to happen. People that are best friends or even our family, we're going to feel triggered. This is where remember, the repressed emotions come up. So it's like people are just pushing your buttons all over the place. But guess what? It's also happening to them. So we're feeling this. This need for purging coming up. And it's really connected with the purging that is coming through from Gaia. This is coming through all the purging of all the thousands of years that has been accumulated in there, and it's coming up big time. So we, as expressions of Gaia, we are also going through our own evolutionary process with this and also having our own unique purging happen with this. But as we become very real and very honest with ourselves, with what it is that we've been repressing, what it is that is ready to be seen, to be heard, then we are able to access our power. So I'm going to read now to you here it is. I want to read to you from my phone this article that I wrote, and it's short, but reading this article, you are going to have a much more solid understanding of what this archetype represents, including and especially when you get in touch with her positive aspects, with her power, because that's what this article focuses on. So I'm going to read to you. You can close your eyes. You can just sit with this because it's all about the message here now. So, keeper of mystery schools, mistress of the void. In her essence, the Black Moon Lilith speaks of the primal feminine, the woman anchored in the wisdom of her womb and in her sexual powers. The Black Moon Lilith is the feminine archetype that holds the keys to ancient knowledge and wisdom, impregnated into the feminine race by the gods. We're talking here thousands of years ago. She holds the mysteries of blood and of sexual power. She holds authority in magic, in rituals, in sacred sciences. She is drawn to all forms of strength and is moved deeply by desires. Today, the Black Moon Lilith is an aspect of the goddess that has been silenced and suppressed for many cycles. Hidden mysteries of ancient feminine wisdom that are all now returning. While the Black Moon Lilith holds secrets to our power, this power today tends to be repressed because it is either denied or rejected when we are young. Yet it is where our cosmic wisdom lies. So then I end. Let's dive deep into all the faces of Black Moon Lilith in your chart with stories, tips, and chart examples. Are you ready? So this is a announcement for the workshop, and you are again more than welcome to check it out. This is going to be an in-depth workshop on the Black Moon Lilith, but this article encapsulates everything that we talked about here. These words are the words that came from years of my own research and communion with this archetype. With the little bit of information that is out there on her, plus my own personal experience in my life, in my client's life, in my student's life. And if you would like to know more about the Black Moon Lilith in your chart, please schedule a private session with me where we can take a look at this energy, or join our workshop where we're going to dive even deeper in her. For now, I'm going to end it here, sending you so much love, so much supportive energy during this time while we each face our shadows, where the mysteries of life are at. I'm with you. I'm feeling her too. That's why I'm talking about her. Much love. Happy full moon in Aquarius. I will see you next time. Signing out for now.